It's over here by the chase tree. There it is. Doesn't it look great? What are you doing? He's been mole hunting. I'll try to stick some video in here. Well, hi there. What are you doing over here, Rose? Only guineas are over here too. Everybody's over here around the goldenrod. It is loved by everyone, and you can see why. And you have it where you are too, I'm sure. The bees love it. The wasps even love it. Everybody loves goldenrod. It looks beautiful. I think it smells pretty terrific too. And it's oh so medicinal. Do you hear the goats? That is, hi Rosie, Barry. Okay, everybody's over here. But goldenrod has been used medicinally for a very long time. For mouth issues, for gastrointestinal problems, sometimes for the support of other organs. It's been used for a very long time. Yes, Rosie. Yes, you love goldenrod, don't you? And because of this, it's been used in my family for, I know, over 100 years. And probably in yours too. And if not, I hope you'll make this something that you will use. It is such a beautiful plant to have. I think in any garden that it would be very welcomed, especially as a background plant. It grows very tall. I'm 6'2", and much of this goldenrod is much taller than I am. Now, it's supported back there where it's even taller, almost 8 feet, by an elm that's popped up inside, and one of the other plants, a bridal wreath that's growing back here. So it's kind of supported by that. But it is medicinally a very useful plant and beautiful in the garden. You should have goldenrod. And I'll make sure that the botanical name is on the screen as well. So I'm going to be taking this inside and making a tincture, and we'll talk more about it there. But I just wanted to bring you out here in the fall garden. Well, this is the fall weeds, actually, but for most people, you would think of these as weeds. That's bone set there. Of course, the goldenrod here. This over here is an allergen for many people. This is ragweed, but for me, it's not an allergen. But many people are allergic to it, and it blooms at the same time as the goldenrod. Goldenrod, ragweed. So a lot of people think goldenrod too is an allergen, but it is not. Matter of fact, it's anything but. It actually can help your histamine levels to return to normal. So it's actually an anti-allergen. And it is loved so much by so many creatures. How could it possibly be bad? Isn't that terrific? Thanks so much, everyone, for visiting with me out here. Let's go inside now and make a tincture. So once you've made sure you've cleaned your flowers, if necessary, of any insects, dead plant matter, they're ready to use, and we can use them fresh, as I'm doing in this example, because this is only going to be mixed with alcohol, not with oil. Now, if you're infusing plant matter into oils, unless you're putting it directly into soap, please don't add fresh. You want to make sure it's fully dried first, because plants are full of water, and we don't want to introduce water into an oil mixture, which can cause spoilage, bacteria growth, and several other problems if you're not making it into a soap or something with a higher pH that can destroy any of those waterborne or things that can grow within the water. Anyway, but for this example, we can simply cut the fresh matter and drop it into whatever container. Now, I have a couple gallons of this already made up, but for this example, I just wanted to show you. Just cut off the flower tips. Now, you can add the leaves which do have some benefit to them as well. But the truth is, if you're using the flowers on the small stems, such as we're doing here, you've got all you need for a wonderful healing tincture, which can help with so many wonderful things like candida, ulcerations in the mouth, around the gums. There are just so many fantastic benefits to using Goldenrod. Now, I will fill this container, because we're using fresh matter, to about 3/4 full, and I do pack it pretty tightly. So as I load it up here, then I'll just take something like a spatula and just press it downward like so. Then we just keep adding to it. And this is something I swear by. There aren't too many things you'll hear me say with a lot of things, that there is information out there, and I'll point you, and I will in this case too, point you to some scientific articles on goldenrod use and benefits. But I can also, in addition to that, tell you that, give you my personal opinion about it, is that because of goldenrod, I generally don't have problems with allergies. Local allergens are just not a big, well, I'm not going to say I don't occasionally get a sneeze. Of course I do. But as far as hay fever and that sort of thing, because of goldenrod, I don't get that. It is something that has been used in my family for, I would say, over 100 years. I know my grandmother used it, and I remember her saying that her mother showed her how to make it. So we're talking about late 1800s to early 1900s, so certainly 100 years or so just within my own family. And I know a lot of other families out there have used this, or maybe even a derivative of it. There are actually some products on the market that include goldenrod, if you just shop around a bit. But we're doing it ourselves. And I make this available to people to purchase if they don't want to go to the trouble of doing this. I understand. It's not for everyone. Perhaps you live in an area where it doesn't grow. It does grow in a lot of places. The smaller ones I just hand pick off. I just don't like to waste any. Anyway, one benefit also that for me with goldenrod is urinary tract issues. I won't get gross and talk too much about that, but it is terrific for those sort of things as well. Now, obviously, you always talk to your doctor, please. And I suggest, especially people taking natural products or, anything made from plant matter, check with your doctor, ask them. Most certainly, if you already have pre-existing issues and conditions that may be affected negatively, maybe you take medications. Now, to my knowledge, goldenrod does not interfere with any medications. That doesn't mean that a conflict doesn't exist. I'm just saying I don't know of one. So do your research if you take a medication to find out if it indeed is safe, or just ask your doctor. You can actually, I don't know at your doctor, so I shouldn't speak to this. I can call a doctor on the phone here locally, leave a message on their machine, and they will call me back with an answer, and they've never charged me for that. But if you don't have access to that, you can certainly use things like Teledoc to do that kind of research as well. Now, because of what this is generally used for, it's not really, most people use it for allergies, or like I said, for mouth infections and problems. If you're using it beyond that, or for a condition that's more serious than that, yes, please do check in with your physician just to be sure. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and cover this with grain alcohol. And in this case, vodka is just fine. It does not have to be something very high test or high alcohol content like Everclear, which you've seen me use for many different tinctures. Some of those, it's necessary. This is one where actually we can add, let me show you. Now I have filled this to about 2/3 of the way up with water, or with the vodka, and I'm going to fill it the rest of the way with distilled water. Why am I adding water? The reason is that some of the constituents of the Goldenrod are better extracted using water. By using a combination of alcohol and water, we have the benefit of getting all of the constituents, both those that are only withdrawn with alcohol and those that are withdrawn with water, out of these wonderful, wonderful medicinal plants. That's not true of every plant, but certainly with Goldenrod, it's one where a little bit of water, like I said, about 2/3 vodka to 1/3 water is just fine. It doesn't water down your tincture. It actually gives you a more powerful tincture because the water does extract some of the more beneficial aspects of the Goldenrod. So make yourself some Goldenrod tincture soon. I actually will cap this, put it in a cabinet. I don't like it out in the light, and just let it age for a good 45 days. And you have Goldenrod tincture. It's that easy. I actually will be putting this in my store. I already have about 2 gallons made up. So if it's something you're interested in, it's there. But as you can see, it's very easy to make. A few of the wonderful benefits that I've alluded to in Goldenrod are, well, they are just so many of them. It has been used to reduce pain, swelling, inflammation, as a diuretic to actually increase urine flow. For some people, that is very much a necessity. It's been used to stop muscle spasms, used in the treatment of gout, joint pain, topically for things like eczema. It just has a lot of benefits that have been touted over the years. And as I stated, most of these I'm going to notate in the description of this video so that you can read the scientific information yourself, because I think it's vitally important you see how important this herb is. And if you don't have it, let me or someone else provide it to you, because Goldenrod is a gem. It truly is, and it's such a simple thing to make yourself if you have access to, of course, the Goldenrod itself. But if you have any questions about this, of course, feel free to ask, but do not pass by the great benefits of Goldenrod. I think you will be very impressed. Have a great day, everyone.